Owning a home in Naperville is about living a great life today and investing in a secure tomorrow. On this show, we're going to give you the tools to do both. Welcome to the Naperville Real Estate Weekly Market Update.
Naperville, what's going on? This is the Naperville Real Estate Weekly Market Update. I'm Chris Grano from Keller Williams. Alongside me is Todd Gosden from Compass Mortgage, and we are your hosts. Todd, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great and back and better than ever, as I would say. Yes, right. Indeed.
Yes, sir. Yes, I know we talk pretty much every day, but
yes.
We haven't been on the podcast for a couple of weeks. So I know we're betraying you, our weekly listeners, but that's okay. I'm sure you'll forgive us.
So, please do. Please do.
Which, hey, it's, the good news is there's a lot of activity happening out there in the real estate world, particularly in Naperville. And I think, it's going to be a great winter. It's already been a great fall for folks who are looking to buy and sell. And as we head here, can you imagine it, Todd? I'm already talking about the holidays.
I know. It's like 1 week to Halloween, 5 weeks to Thanksgiving. What is it? 9 weeks to Christmas. Listen, yeah. I'm already thinking about January and February.
I know. You have to. Whether you're talking about business or just family life, gosh, we're all so busy these days. So we're going to talk about that today. That's our topic for today is what does it mean to buy and sell a house over the holidays? And everybody always has different ideas or opinions. So we'll dispel a couple of myths and we'll give you some advice on how to be successful in that effort. So let's look at this week's numbers. So it's a couple of weeks since we've tracked numbers here, and it is a little bit of a different, scene out there right now. So, it's been the story of the year has been low inventory and, lots of activity as far as buyers go, right? Lots of buyers out there. Well, this week, if you look at October 27th today versus last October 6th, so 2 and 3 weeks ago now, we had a 28% decrease in new listings to the market in Naperville. So we went from 76 new listings at the beginning of the month to 55 new listings this week. So it is what it is. There's, maybe a lot of rationale behind it. You just talked about things, with holidays coming up, people are back in school, but activity's down. And you know what? It's no different this year than it always is, right, Todd? I mean, we always see a little bit of drop in new listings around this time of the year.
Yeah, we have. But don't let that be mistaken, that the market is never been better to purchase or sell in the months of November and December. I mean, you see real buyers and real sellers wanting to create deals and create opportunities for one another. And I can tell you over the many years that I've done this, many, many years, is that we always have found November and December to be two of our top 5 busiest months of the year, just because people do buy and sell. And the myth that people don't do real estate in November, December is completely false. Completely false.
Absolutely. Well, and I think what we see is now, if you just look at raw numbers, sure, you might see a decrease in numbers of new listings in those months. But what happens is the number of buyers tracks with that. So for my sellers who, buyers who say, well, there's not going to be any homes out there, well, there's going to be less buyers out there for you to compete with, which is good. And for sellers, they say, well, maybe there's less buyers. Well, there's less sellers for you to compete with. Okay.
Yes.
So it tracks with one another. It's not like all of a sudden one or the other, buyers or sellers, just drops off and we have this huge market imbalance. And to Todd's point, the buyers, we've said it before, the buyers in this time of year and the sellers this time of year are serious, because nobody's just testing the market as a seller in November, December, and no buyers are just having fun, trudging through the snow looking for homes in the winter. They're real buyers. And the folks who are selling are motivated sellers. So it's a great time of year to sell. So as we see these changes, again, as Todd pointed out, that's not to say, number one, that there's anything wrong with the market right now, and number two, that you shouldn't feel confident. So under contract, we had 63 homes under contract this week. That's only down from 70 3 weeks ago. So that number is actually down a little bit less than new listings. So good activity out there. And 62 homes closed. So then let's talk about the pace of market. Pretty good news again for buyers. We are up as far as inventory goes in every single price range in Naperville, with the exception of 500 to 750. So that price range took a small dip in the past 3 weeks, but everything else is up. Everything under 500, we're up to 2.5 months of inventory. That's really the highest we've seen Gosh, Todd, I think that's the highest we've seen maybe all year. At
It's
least
been a
since,
long time.
yeah, at least since early in the year. And 750 to a million and a million plus were up above 4 months of inventory. So in those higher price brackets, we're creeping up towards a balanced market, which is awesome news for buyers, right?
Totally. Great news.
So I think, again, a lot to be excited about. Now let's talk about the realities of buying and selling in the winter, Todd. I mean, are there buyers out there? Do you talk to buyers who want to buy homes in the winter?
I would say
Softball
that
question.
we have so many opportunities for people wanting to buy. I mean, there's never ever a shortage of people thinking about real estate. I mean, think
Yeah.
about and all our viewers, I think, would say the same is that we're surrounded by it all
Yeah.
the time, right? It's in the media, it's in social media, it's on the news, it's on this TV station. We have complete channels committed to just buying and selling houses. So the reality is people do buy and sell, and it's always top of mind. It's just sometimes a narrative is created in someone's head that, hey, now is the wrong time. When the reality is that's just a story you're telling yourself, meaning
Yeah.
that if you are truly looking to buy or sell a home, there's never a wrong time.
Yeah.
Unless it's like Christmas Day and you got the family coming over.
Right.
But the reality is that there's opportunity always. It's just a matter of whether or not you're ready to move forward with it.
Well, when you talk to buyers, I mean, I know the answer to this question because it's the same, thing that I do. Isn't one of the most important things about why you want to buy? Like why are you buying, right? In other words, are you buying because you have a job change and you've got to move closer to work? Are you buying because you're a new grandparent and you want to be closer to your grandkids? That's a big question that we always ask our buyers. Is that right?
Yeah, what's the purpose and the reason? Because not that we have to know, but we ask that out of curiosity because it allows us to potentially use our expertise and years of experience to say that this you may want to think about this or may think about that, because our job is to empower people to make decisions,
Right.
not to sell something. I mean, I have relationships with people that all I do is answer their questions and help them through a journey and an experience that is hopefully going to be a really great one, not an experience that they're going to dread for the rest of their life trying to do it again.
That's right. And the reason I asked that question too, and the reason I bring that point up is those things happen all year round. Now,
Totally.
Okay, all right. So if you're going to be a seasonal participant in the real estate market and you just kind of get your juices flowing in March, and you're going to say, well, next year, I think we're just going to move up just because we want to move up, right?
Yeah.
We want to buy a bigger house and whatever. And there's nothing constraining us. It's just next year we're going to do that. Okay. Then maybe you're one of those buyers that falls into that, what we consider busy time of the year. But again, maybe you just changed jobs. Maybe your daughter-in-law is about to go back to work and she really needs you to help out with the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those things can happen in October, November, December. So don't buy because of some month that somebody told you is good. Buy because it's right for you. And if December is the right time for you to look for a house, then do that. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah. Don't discount the idea.
Yeah. And on the same thing on the selling side, I mean, I've got lots of listings that have either come live in the last couple of weeks or are coming live soon. And it's the same thing. Sellers always say, well, are there buyers in the winter? Yes, there are. And I'll give you a couple of little tips for sellers out there. So number one, don't worry about the weather. Okay. Now, does weather impact home, showings? Sometimes, sure, if there's a blizzard. But people in Chicago see houses when there's snow on the ground. People in Chicago look at home pictures with bare trees and snow on the roofs. I had a seller this week that was a little concerned. They said, well, what if the leaves all fall by the time we do pictures? That's okay. People look at pictures with bare trees too. They're more interested in the house than they are with the tree in the yard. And then one other tip I'll give you is, during the holidays as a seller, I will say, don't overload the decorations. Have you seen these houses, Todd, in your neighborhood where you drive by and it looks like the
North Pole?
Yeah, either looks like Santa came, and is taking up temporary residence at your house, or I was out there this week doing some neighborhood tours and I saw some homes that, looked like it was an M. Night Shyamalan film or something. I don't know, but it's just take it easy. It's okay to have some tasteful decorations for the fall or for the holiday season. People expect that, but just keep it simple and, keep it accessible so that everyone would enjoy it.
Could not agree more. Could not agree more. And the other thing is, I always tell clients, come from curiosity. When you're curious about something or have a question, then just pick up the phone and call, because you can't empower yourself to make the right decision if you're not coming from curiosity.
Yeah.
Right. That's all about the experience of wonderment, right? You're asking questions because you truly want them answered, then call and ask. Right. Don't be afraid that you're calling somebody to ask questions and then the first words out of their mouth is, let's go look at homes. You really have to give consideration and I hate to say it this way, is it the right person in either industry? Because we really want to know more about you, be interested versus interesting, and understand your needs. That's the only way we can advise and empower.
I love that you brought that up, because that brings another thing to mind is, I occasionally come across buyers who, meet me and they say, that they already have financing in place, right? Obviously, I'm always trying to, if I can, to advise them and get them in touch with a trusted partner, someone like Todd, that I know will do a good job for them. But, if they feel like they have a strong relationship, I'm not going to, try to push something on them. But I will say, I ask questions because I find that, like Todd said, sometimes people aren't asking the right questions. And sometimes partners in the transaction, lenders or agents or attorneys, aren't asking the right questions. And oftentimes I get a buyer that'll come to me and say, well, I'm looking for houses at $300,000. And I'll say, great. Why $300,000? Well, that's the pre-approval I got. And I'll say, okay, did you ask them did you tell that lender you're looking at homes at $300,000 and ask them if you're pre-approved for it? And they'll say, well, yeah. And I'll say, did they tell you what your maximum was, or did they tell you what the payment looked like at $300,000? And I had this conversation with a buyer recently, and I said, do you know what the payment looks like at $350,000? And I, just kind of gave her an estimate breakdown, just with the mortgage calculator. And she was like, oh, well, that's much less than I thought it was. I said, well, you probably ought to talk to your lender and see if that's possible, because the difference between 3 and 350 in your market is the entire world.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pretty much.
So yes, come from curiosity and get connected with partners who will educate you and teach you, not just give you a simple answer or try to push something on you.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Boy, what a great podcast this is. It was a good one.
I agree. If you're not listening, you're not learning. So, hey, check in with us. We will try our darndest to be here every week, but thank you so much. And if you have questions, like Todd said, just give us a call. Be happy to answer and see how we can help in any way, whether that's, with something you're doing right now, or if you're just kicking around ideas for the future. Hey, follow the podcast on youtube.com/Chris Grano, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. Todd, are you dressing up for Halloween this year?
Nope.
You're just being cool, Todd.
No, not even cool, Todd. I'm just being Todd.
That's awesome. Well, I don't know. We're doing a little Halloween with the kids, so it ought to be fun, and we'll just pray for good weather and
snow.
No snow. Yeah, everybody can just have a good time this weekend.
Me too.
Well, be safe, everybody. Have fun, and we'll catch you next time.